So you're thinking about moving to Bend, Oregon, and you want to know what it's really like to have lived here for 30 plus years. Well, that's exactly what we're going to be covering in today's video. Today's video is a little bit different. Zach and I are both 30-year plus Bendites. We want to talk about what Bend has become over the last 30 years, what we've seen in the early days, what we've seen in the more recent days, and just touch on what we've seen in Bend, some of our best memories associated with living here in this amazing town.
What we really love about this place, sorry to cut you off, Ryan,
Yeah.
but what we really love about it, and hopefully some of those things that aren't stuff we normally talk about, but just to give you an idea of all the amazingness,
the authenticity of living in Bend. So if that video sounds like it's for you, stick around. We're going to be getting after it right now.
If this is your first time on the channel and you'd like to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, playing, the good and the bad of Bend, Oregon, subscribe to the channel and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market here in Bend. My name is Zach Nutter. This is Ryan Rudloff, both licensed brokers with eXp Realty in the state of Oregon. We are also 30-year residents plus here in Bend. We've lived here, grown up here, still live here, still love it. We'd love to share this place with you. So if you're looking to move in the next 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We'd love to connect with you, help you make a smooth move here to Bend. So with that being said, we're going to cruise. We're at the Deschutes River right here. We are in kind of the old mill area. This is the separator of east to west. By a lot of the old timer standards, it's really the highway, but we've got the beautiful Deschutes that runs through Bend. So we're just gonna cruise along, talk about our favorite memories, what we love about Bend, what we remember, and just give you guys a real glimpse of what it's like to live here.
Yeah, this part of the river here was inaccessible forever, up until about the year 2004, when Reed Market Road to our right was extended all the way to Century Drive, and there was a newly implemented bridge that crossed the river. That became the southernmost crossing of east to west in Bend. And before that, it was Colorado Bridge, the street over here to our left, about a half a mile. And so it made traversing the river kind of difficult going from east to west, and this kind of opened up everything here. This used to be the old mill grounds here. We're on a boardwalk right now in the middle of the river, but we're gonna walk to the park, River Bend Park, right to our right here in just a moment. But this whole area really opened up once the city was able to acquire the land and then develop it as a park and more of a public area. And so that's what's unique about this particular part here. We're just off of the old mill district here. That's where the amphitheater is. That's where all the shops and restaurants are, right along the river. And that is a very huge draw for this area. And it just is kind of the spearhead for everything that has become what Bend is. And that's what we want to talk about today.
So I don't know if you can still see it, but behind us when we started this video, there's this big, beautiful pedestrian bridge that takes you over the river. Well, when we were growing up here, that was a very flat, wide bridge, no rails. And we spent summers upon summers jumping off that bridge into the river, swimming, hanging out. Nobody floated the river here. It wasn't a thing. We had a big spillway in between that you had to get out and go around. It was really dangerous. So nobody would really float the river. Well, several years ago, Bend Park and Rec redid that whole area and made it a little whitewater park. So you go through the whitewater park, there's a surf wave there, so you can actually surf in town, but then you can also just pass by in your tube. It is a little bumpy. People get bumps and bruises going through there all the time, but now thousands upon thousands of people float the river here in Bend every day in the summer. It's bumper to bumper traffic. It's unbelievable. They had to cut down on, they don't let you drink on the river anymore because so many people were drinking and getting tossed in the whitewater park, and it's just wild. But it's really cool to see kind of the evolution of this. This was an area that was just a dirt area. There was nothing down here. It was an old mill before. You got the old mill district behind us, but some great memories of just kind of hanging out on that bridge. Now you cannot jump off the bridge, so don't come here and do that.
Yeah.
But super, super neat area now. So many people use this to recreate daily. You see all kinds of frisbee golf and LARPing and people practicing all kinds of stuff. I don't know if you're into that that LARPing stuff, you know. But I mean, now it's park, and you've got play structures. You've got a 3.5-mile loop that connects the old mill to a bridge way down in the forest, crosses the river. If you're into running, hiking, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we just want to share with you a bunch of memories. Ryan, what is one of your favorite things to do in Bend right now? We can talk about fall, spring, summer.
Yeah, I mean, we're in November now, so we're gearing up for the winter recreation season, right? And so Mount Bachelor obviously is a huge draw. It's the 6th largest ski resort in North America, over 4,000 skiable acres. There's 12 express lifts on there. It's just a real draw. It certainly is the biggest ski resort in the Northwest. And so there's people that come from Seattle, they come from Portland, they come from the Valley, they come from California, they come from all over just to spend time, whether it's a week during Christmas break or a week during Thanksgiving or even during spring break. But they come here and they spend time, whether it's here in Bend or in Sun River, and they plan to go up to the mountain to ski, because it is a mountain resort that can serve any level of skier. And that's something that is always exciting this time of year. Everybody is, quote, praying for snow, right? That's kind of a big slogan that goes on around here right now during the shoulder period of the fall, where it's kind of cold outside, but we still haven't gotten the snow yet. And so we're just waiting for the snow to accumulate up on the mountain so the mountain can itself open. And typically speaking, the goal for Mount Bachelor every year is to open right around Thanksgiving and then just go into the winter season. And it is an absolute spectacular mountain when it comes to winter recreation. We have other types of winter recreation that doesn't just apply to downhill skiing. There's cross-country skiing, there's snowmobiling, there is snowshoeing, but we transition from summer type activity, golf, floating the river, just being outside in the sun, to the winter recreation. It's typically sunny still, even though we get a lot of snow, but now we're focusing on the winter recreation season, and that's exactly where we are right now. But that's just a big memory too. It's just like the Four Seasons is a real cool draw here in Central Oregon.
So I don't know if you did it when you were growing up, but when I was in elementary school here, 4th and 5th grade, they had a program at Mount Bachelor where the kids in elementary school, you could go, they were essentially field trips, but you'd go like 3 or 4 times, and you'd get to go up to the mountain. They teach you how to
free skiing,
or snowboard. It was a really cool
program
thing
through the school district.
I don't know if they still do it or not, but there is a really cool program here. So if you're thinking about moving here and you're like, I'd like to get into the winter stuff, but I've never skied, snowboard, any of that stuff, they have a program called the Ride in 5.
Ride for 5,
Yep. And it's for people that have really never been on the snow. So if you're thinking about just trying to get a cheap pass, they will sniff that out real quick. But I think it's like $250 to $300 somewhere in there.
You get like 5 lessons.
Yep, 5 lessons, and then you get a season pass.
You get a season pass for the remainder of the year, and then you get a 50% discount on a season pass the following year, and then a 25% discount on a season pass the following year after that. And so what they're trying to do up at Mount Bachelor is just create new fans of skiing and snowboarding, things like that. And that's a really cool program that they offer, because again, I mean, Mount Bachelor really is the primary ski resort in the area, and they know that, but they're also trying to cultivate new generations into the ski and snowboard culture.
Yeah, it's a great program. So you've got the mountain here, and then in the summertime, you've got all the lakes and the rivers. I mean, my dad used to take me fishing.
Lake days were amazing.
One of the cool things that we have here in Bend that a lot of places, a lot of mountain towns don't have, is we're surrounded by a lot of water too. We have tons of lakes everywhere. You go south, and you've got East Lake, Paulina Lake, Crane Prairie, the Twin Lakes. You go up Cascade Lakes Highway, and you've got a ton of lakes up there. We're surrounded, and then we've got the Deschutes that runs right through town. There's just water everywhere. So not only is it an amazing place to be in the winter, but it's fantastic in the summer. And this whole area that we're at, there was no areas to kind of hang out and just relax by the river. Now we've got sandy beach area. We've got 2 different areas that are kind of set up for that. You go a half mile down the road, they've got another one over by the Whitewater Park. It's just you almost kind of feel like you're at the beach. It's not a huge river. It's not like the Willamette River, but it's a good sized river. It's got some very calm areas where you can swim and relax. And then it's got some areas with some pretty intense rapids. So I just love this aspect, this whole area down here. But What are some of the other things that
Well,
you love about Bend?
Well, just to piggyback on the lakes and the water and all the stuff that's around it as it relates to aquatics, like each lake, I mean, we've got 12 primary lakes that make up the Cascade Lakes, but ultimately there are probably 150 lakes in our area here. And each lake kind of has its own brand. Like Crane Prairie Reservoir is known for fishing. Paulina and East Lake are known for fishing. Lake Billy Chinook is known for its water sports, wakeboarding. Cultus Lake is known for water. Yeah, exactly. It's known for its water skiing, wakeboarding, as is Crescent Lake and Prineville Reservoir. So each body of water kind of has its own brand per se, in the sense of what you're going to do when you go visit those types of lakes. And they're all about 30 to 40, maybe an hour away, 30 to 40 minutes away from Bend right here. So it's just a really short distance to get up to the higher elevations or lower elevations. That's where Billy is. It's at 2,500 feet. And some of those Cascade Lakes up in the mountains are at 5,000 feet, 6,000 feet. But you just have an array of options for what you want to do from a recreation standpoint. And in the summertime, that was always something that we did. It was like, which lake are we going to go to on a Saturday or a Sunday? Or if we're not going to go to a lake, then what else are we going to do outside? Is it going to be golf? Is it going to be hiking at Smith Rock? Is it going to be hiking up by Paulina Peak? Things like that. Or Sun River. Sun River is a great draw as well, and just a short distance away. It's a way to actually go on vacation and feel like you're in a completely different environment from Bend, but also like on a Sunday when it's time to go home, pack up, it's just 12 miles away. So it's not like you have to travel 3 hours to get home. Yeah, you don't get the Sunday scary so much because you just get up and go back home 12 miles away. But it's cool to have that ability to just kind of leave your present environment and just go stay up in Sun River or Brasada Ranch or Eagle Crest or wherever it is, and just have a quick vacation yet be still in your backyard.
I do love that. One of the other things I really love about Bend is all the events that are going on. So just yesterday was Halloween. They've been doing this for years, but people dress up as witches and paddle the river. There's hundreds of people dressed as witches paddling the river. It's fairly bizarre and crazy, but like so many people do it. They do a polar plunge down here. There's a really cool event. It's a week-long event that happens. It's called Balloons Over Bend. And
that's in July. That's cool.
You'll see hot air balloons everywhere. They do a night glow one night where once it gets dark, they light them all up. Super cool. We've got Winterfest where they bring in and build these huge snow ramps, and they have concerts, and they have all these people doing stunts on the snow ramps. They've got food and activities and all this stuff. They do that summer, winter, spring, and fall. There's so many events here, not to mention the 40, 50, 60 concerts we get at the amphitheater that are bringing in top tier talent.
And that's an event every night that there's a concert too. That's what's so cool.
If you don't like loud music, don't buy a house in the old mill, because in the summertime, there is music here non-stop.
There's noise until 10 p.m.
We got a guy over here that he's got his metal detector out. He's looking for treasures in the water. I mean, there's endless possibilities here. But there's so much to do here. So just down the way, we've got the Deschutes County Fairgrounds, which is in Redmond. We've got a huge annual fair. They're starting to bring in these big festivals. We had a huge country music festival. We had a huge it's an EDM, I don't know, it's not my kind of music, but like electronic music festival there. We're starting to get these big festivals. It has a space to have that kind of, you get 30, 40, 50,000 people in this area. So there's always something going on regardless of the season, because people are still active here in the winter. The other morning I was out running the river trail. I know I don't look like I run a whole lot, but I do like to get up and run. It's a slow trot, if you will, sometimes, but I was running. It was early. I was getting up early to do some work, probably 5:36 in the morning. It was still pretty dark. I almost ran into the river. I'm thinking I'm not going to find anybody else out here. It's going to be my own quiet time. They passed me or came the other way. 30 or 40 people with headlamps on cruising the river trail.
Yeah.
People are active here.
Very active area.
All the time. It's a very interesting place. It's not like this big city where where there's all this hubbub all the time, but it's people like being outdoors here regardless of the weather.
You know, that brings up a thought too, and Zach can correct me if I exaggerate, because I tend to exaggerate sometimes on these videos, but we're kind of like a very extreme miniature version of LA, where everybody let me finish my thought, where there's so many people that have moved here from out of the area, and they bring their ideas, they bring their thoughts, they have a reason for moving to said location, and they bring their already established culture of who they are to mesh with the current established culture that is Bend. And that's what's unique. There's so much going on constantly, and there's always an activity going on, and new people flood the market. They come in. We have 4 million visitors that come through this area every single year, and yet Deschutes County still only has just a smidge over 200,000 people that live in the area, but we get 4 million visitors. So that's a huge number when it comes to the people that ultimately come here to visit. And so they're doing things. They're coming here for a reason. They're coming here to do the recreational activities that are outside, whether it's winter or if it's summertime. It doesn't really matter. But Zach was touching on the fact that there's a winter fest. There's also a summer fest, a spring fest, a fall fest. There's all those things. And it just continues on. We have the amphitheater over here to our left now. And Zach was touching on the fact that there's up to 50 or 60 concerts, and they are main name, like big names, right? They're not just like people on their retirement tour. These guys are in their prime, and they are here to perform. They'll do maybe 2-night, 3-night sets sometimes, and they're just here to perform. They even those performers, they will sneak away in the daytime and go fishing in the Crooked River or the Deschutes River, or they'll go work out
golfing
at a primary workout facility. Yeah, they're golfing, they're doing something, they're paddleboarding, they're enjoying the amenities that Bend has to offer in the same way that just you and I are when we live here. It's pretty unique.
Michael Ferrante is actually famous for coming down. We don't have them anymore. They actually just got rid of the volleyball courts, but he would come down here and play pickup volleyball with whoever was around. I mean, a lot of people didn't even know who he was 4 hours before his concert. Then walk across the river, eat dinner, and then walk over
and go work
his show.
You go to work.
Pretty incredible.
Clock in.
The reason we're starting to get more and more big artists, they expanded the amphitheater, they did a bunch of stuff, but people like coming here. They really enjoy. I mean, a lot of times artists have options, right, where they can go, and especially the bigger names, they enjoy coming here. A lot of them are starting to play 2-night sets because they want to spend time here. It's really fun to see. Because when the amphitheater first opened, we were getting some decent names. You know, like the biggest names were probably Jack Johnson,
Coldplay. I mean, they're still big, but it was like 10 concerts a year, right? Now we're getting 50.
Yeah, Dave Matthews, Kenny Chesney.
Yep. Thomas Rhett. You got
who else came this year? We had some pretty interesting names.
Who sang the national anthem?
Chris Stapleton.
Stapleton, yeah.
Chris Stapleton came. We had a couple comedy shows. We had some big electronic, I forget what was their name.
Odessa.
Odessa came.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like really, really cool bands. Not Eric Church, that's your boy Eric Church. What was the guy that came for 2 nights?
Party?
John Party came. I can't think of. There's so many. Yeah. I like country music. So
the list, it keeps going. It's great though.
But there's all.
It's great to have these options right here in our backyard.
Yeah, and I mean, you can ride your bike over here. You can take an Uber here. Like that is one thing. Also, Bend's small town, but we have tons of rideshare. We have Uber. We have Lyft. We don't have many taxis here, but we have good transportation. Our bus system it's getting better, but it's not huge. So.
Electric bikes are huge.
Yes, they're everywhere.
Here, man.
We don't have any of those scooters, the electric scooters that you see in some of the big towns, but we've got the bird bikes. Those are all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else do we love about this place? One of the other things that I love, and I talk to clients about a lot, is a lot of people want big mountain views of their house or from their house, but they can be, I mean, they're really expensive. Usually it's hard to find a fairly affordable home that has big mountain views. What I like to tell people is I don't have mountain views at my house, but I see the mountains every day. Yeah. When you're driving all over this town, the mountains are in your face all the time. Yep. So if you don't buy a house with mountain views, it's not like you're never gonna see them.
You won't be deprived of the mountains.
They are,
that's for sure.
They are everywhere. I don't see the river as much, but I do come down to the river trail quite a bit, but the mountains, you really can't miss them. Pretty much anywhere you're in Central Oregon, when you're driving around, they are right in your face. We get some of the most beautiful sunsets. One of my favorite things to do is cruise up the butte, watch the sunset.
Yep.
And especially one of the downsides of Bend is our smoky summers, late summers that we talk about sometimes. But you get some of the most spectacular sunsets when it's smoky out and that sun goes down and the sun sets right over the mountains.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. You get these bright pinks and oranges and they just light the sky up. It's really, really cool to look at.
The only place I would compare like the sunsets on a regular basis to Bend, it would probably be like maybe like the Southern California coast, where it's like every night the sun is going down over the ocean. Everybody's on the beach, just enjoying that moment, right? We get moments like that in the summertime and typically other seasons of the year as well, just about every night when it's sunny out. And there's no two sunsets that are alike. We've got 7 primary peaks in this area that you can see from the top of Pilot Butte or from many different neighborhoods in our town here, but you can just see, there's 7 that are up to 10,000 feet in elevation. So if that's something that you like, if you're coming from a Seattle, if you're coming from a California, if you're coming from a Texas or somewhere from the Midwest or even East Coast, where it's like you're not used to having this prestige of a landscape where the mountains face to the west and the sun goes right over the top of them when it sets down every night. It is pretty remarkable. We can sometimes take it for granted, although as we age, we appreciate it more and more because it really is a privilege to have this type of landscape where we're situated just on the eastern side of the mountains. The sun goes right over the top. I mean, that's one of my favorite pastimes as well, just enjoying sunsets.
I think this has probably been the easiest video, I don't know about for you, but for me, that we've ever shot. We're just walking and talking about what we love about Bend. But another thing I'll say is for being a smaller town, 100,000 people, which is huge from where we were 30 years ago.
Oh yeah.
But I think we've got some of the best food for being as small a town as we are. As you can tell, I like to eat. And we've got steakhouses. We're starting to get all these food trucks. We've got great Italian food. There's so much good food here. And a lot of it is mom and pop. It's all unique, small restaurants. Chains don't do very well here. We have very few chains for being a town of 100,000 people. Mm-hmm. And when they do open, a lot of them don't make it. Like restaurants you don't think about failing, We had an Outback, that's gone. We had a Applebee's, that's gone.
Cracker Barrel,
that's gone.
Yep.
Like they've come and they've left.
They come and go.
Because there's so much good family-owned business here, restaurant-style business, that the big box stores just don't do as well.
It's ultimately a testament to the type of people that end up moving to Bend, right? So when we were young, there was 20,000 people here. It was a small blue-collar mill town, and since then we've grown by 80,000+ people over the course of 20 years or 20+ years. And so the type of people that end up moving here, they are very strategic with where they choose to move to. They have the choice to move here, and for good reason. So they come here and they're all like-minded. They have one thing in common that they love: the outdoors. They love the small town vibe. They love the sunshine, things like that. So when they arrive, they're still ambitious people, right? They have ideas. They have things they bring to the table, and that helps enhance the culture that Bend is and what it's become.
Something else I love, so I love to travel. My wife and I, we like to go out. We like to do things. We have a bucket list of concert venues we want to go to. And we have the Redmond Airport 25 minutes away. All you got to show up is an hour early. We're getting more and more and more direct flights. Growing up, we only maybe had 3 or 4 direct flights.
Portland, Seattle, San Francisco. That was it.
Salt Lake
growing
City.
up. Yeah, maybe Salt Lake too.
And now we've got LA, we've got Burbank, we've got
Denver.
We have wine country.
We've got Chicago in some part of the year. We've got Dallas, Fort Worth.
Phoenix.
Yep.
And so getting to those areas, like just for a quick weekend, is feasible now.
Right.
As to where it wasn't 25 years ago. You know, you had to take a flight to Portland to get to Phoenix, or Seattle to go down to LA. And now it's just so much easier to travel out of here, which is super important to me because we love to travel.
Yep. I mean, the location of where Bend and Redmond is second to none. I mean, we're sandwiched right in between two of the bigger tech hubs in the entire world, San Francisco and Seattle. So it's like our primary airport is going to go to those hubs first, and you can get to anywhere in the world from those two places. So it's just maybe a 45-minute flight from Redmond to Seattle, or Redmond down to San Francisco, and then you're off to the races to wherever you need to go. So proximity is fantastic. We are a little isolated on the other side of the mountains when it comes to how close we are from a micro standpoint. In Oregon, yeah, Portland, Eugene, Salem, etc. are on the other side of the mountains, but that actually bodes well because we get a little bit of a buffer zone from them, but we are also just a quick flight away to any other major city if you need to get from point A to point B in a relatively short amount of time.
Ryan was talking about like little mini staycations earlier too. We love to camp. So, I mean, you're 20, 30, 40 minutes at most, and there's all kinds of amazing camping if you're into it. I mean, you can camp at the tent, an RV, however you want to do it, but all around the rivers and the lakes and everything else. So if you love the outdoors, but you also like being able to go to a really nice steakhouse on Thursday night and go camping on the weekend, we are so close to the outdoors here. I mean, you go up on Pilot Butte and you look around and you look past the city and it's forest and wilderness. Like, we are in the middle of, they call it a high desert, but if you look around, it's really hard in Bend to think of it as a desert at all. It just doesn't really look like that. If you start getting more out into the Prineville, north to the Madras area, you can kind of start to see that a little bit more. But here in Bend, you feel more like you're in the forest, in the woods. You're looking at the mountains all the time. It just doesn't really seem like the high desert.
And that's also one of those things that's pretty cool. Like in the shoulder season, in the springtime, the mountain's still open. There's still snow accumulation, etc. Mount Bachelor typically is open until Memorial Day weekend every year. So there's pockets of warm weather. It's springtime. We're getting 75, 80 degree days in the Aprils and Mays. And so you could, in theory, have a fantastic day that, you know, starts up at the mountain. You're a couple laps up on the mountain there, a couple hours of skiing, come down and maybe make a tea time at noon, go play Widgie Creek or another golf course in the area, and then be able to go downtown and go to an event, something like that. Go to a steakhouse, go to a nice dinner for the evening. That could be a Saturday for you. And that's probably unique compared to a lot of other places that you may be considering moving to, because we are so close in proximity to all those amenities, and you can do all three in a single day.
We have some other really cool events. We've got the Pull Pedal Paddle.
Yep.
People come from all over the planet to participate in this event. Starts with the downhill ski, which is the pull, and then we've got some kayaking, we've got some biking, and then we've got some running. So it's, people do it by themselves solo, people do it as a team, but people come from all over to do this event. We got the Race and Ace, where people ski down and then you play, was it 9 holes of golf? You played in the Race and Ace, right?
18 holes, yep.
18 holes of golf. Like,
charity event. Yeah, that's great.
There's so many events going on around here all the time. I remember when my wife and I, we lived in Mexico for a short period of time. In this little town we lived in, every day there was parades, there was events, there was stuff going on. And that's what Bend feels like today, in my opinion. There's maybe not parades and stuff, but we do have parades. We've got a great 4th of July parade, pet parade. But the Christmas parade's pretty fantastic. But we have a lot of events going on here all the time. Like, if you're looking for something to do, you can find something to do.
Yep.
So many sporting events for all the high schools, so many outdoor activities. It's incredible what's available to you here.
And that just gives homage to the fact that there's so much to do all the time with how small of a town we truly still are. Most places that are 100,000 or a little over 100,000 people, it's still a small town to most people, right? And so there's not a lot going on, But here it's just like you can get lost with one thing you fixate on, whether you're stand-up paddle boarding or you're fly fishing or you're doing something else, you're golfing a lot. You want to focus on that for the summertime or do something similar in the wintertime, focus on snowshoeing or focus on downhill skiing. It's just easy to get like fixated on one activity and then just get lost and forget about all the other options. And that's okay, because that's the only way you really understand something that's available is by doing it a lot. And it just speaks volumes to what Bend really is. There's something for everybody here when they are considering moving here, and they find what they like to do, and then they expand their horizons after they arrive here.
For being a small town, we've got tons of great shopping. I remember when I grew up here, Ryan and I were talking about jingles from old things that old companies in town that a lot of them aren't here anymore. But like when you had to go shopping in the past, like almost everybody went to Portland to go shopping now. You don't have to do that anymore. We have so many great stores. We got a lot of big stores, unlike restaurants. The big chain retail stores seem to do fairly well here. We also, so if you're in the Old Mill, Cascade Village Shopping Center, and the Bend Promenade is where you're gonna find a lot of the bigger box stores, even in the Forum Shopping Center. And if you go downtown, you're gonna find a lot more of the local stores, the mom and pop shops.
Yep.
But I mean, we have so much shopping here, stuff that we never had when we were growing up.
Absolutely.
It's another great feature. People love to shop. People love that part of life. I know my wife does. Not a huge thing for me, but
yeah,
it's something that's very important to a lot of people. So we have a lot of great shopping here. This place is, I think the reason I always told my parents growing up, I'm like, the minute I turn 18, I'm out of here. And 38 years later,
still here.
20 years later, but 38 years old, still here. I was actually voted most likely never to leave Bend in high school.
That's right.
But I think Bend evolved so much, but over time, I've seen so many of our friends move away and have moved back.
They want to get back here.
It's a wonderful place to live, and I feel like if I ever left here, I would really, really miss it. I would yearn for it and romanticize the town that it is, because it really is a pretty magical place to live.
Yeah, I mean, I moved away when I was 18 for a couple of years to go to school, and that was exactly the theme. It's like, wow, you know, you to paraphrase Zach, you step away from the trees, from the forest, or whatever that slogan is. It's like, then you're actually way away from it. You can actually see what's going on and what you're missing, and that's what Bend really is. It's like as soon as you leave for a little while, you're like, I need to get back there. I love that place. That's my hometown, and we're proud of it. So, I mean, that's kind of the gist of what our video is all about today. We want to just share some old memories and give you guys a feel for what it was like for us growing up here, because it really is a special place.
It is pretty amazing. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you would like more information, sorry, we got a little pup in the way here. How are you guys doing?
Hi, guys.
Good. Also, the other thing, people are really friendly here. Everybody waves, talks to each other. It's another great thing about that.
People are happy to be here.
Yep. So if this is your first time on the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let us know if there's anything else you'd like to see. We'd love to share all of our stories with you, meet with you in person, meet with you on Zoom. There's a Calendly link on our page. Click that, you can schedule a meeting with us, a Zoom meeting. We'd love to chat with you, show you around Bend, but give us your feedback. What else do you want to see? Somebody the other day corrected me on a couple of the things, and you could tell they'd been here for a long time. I love that.
Absolutely.
Like, I want to share this place with as best possible, right? We want to share as much as we can. So if you see something you're like, hey, actually, or if you have a memory or something, share it with us. Let us know. What do you love about Bend? Comment below. Let's see it. We'd love to talk to you guys more.
Reach out to us when it's your guys' time. We'd love to be the service provider for your real estate needs. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you, as always, on the next video.
Have a great day, guys.